Went to the training academy at Lexington Metro.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many weeks was that training?
My best guess, it was right around 32 weeks.
Worked at Lexington, what, approximately 3 years, I think you stated?
Yes, ma'am, a little less than that.
Came to Louisville and you attended the academy again in Louisville?
I attended the Lateral Jefferson County Police Academy.
And how many weeks was that?
Somewhere right around 6 weeks.
And you stated, I believe, that over the 20 years, you've served thousands of search warrants.
I did not say that.
How many would you say?
I'd say somewhere in the range, over 700, less than 1,000.
Between 700 and 1,000 search warrants, you've been a part of the search warrant team.
Yes, ma'am.
And all different types of locations?
Yes, ma'am.
And many of those search warrants that you served or were part of a team previously, you were not the canine officer, were you?
That's correct. A majority of those were not with canine.
Were not as a canine officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, among the list of trainings that you have attended in your career, which we heard testimony from Major Grissom about, was, and this is in Exhibit 145, which is the transcript from Kentucky Law Enforcement Council. You did attend in 2011 the Police Training Officers course, didn't you?
Ma'am, I do not recall.
What is the Police Training Officers course?
Are you referring to the FTO class? The FTO instructor class?
Yes, Police Training Officers Program, March 25th of 2011.
I've never heard described like as that, but I believe what you're referring to is the field training officer, which used to be called a FTO. It was changed at some time, and I don't recall when, but that sounds about the time it was changed from the abbreviation FTO, field training officer, to PTO, which is a probationary training officer.
And what's the purpose of that course?
The probationary training officer class, I believe, was a 40-hour class, and in that we we're trained on how we would go about training new recruits that are coming fresh out of the academy.
Right, so you are trained as an experienced officer. You are trained to then participate in trainings with new recruits.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you did that in 2011, and following that training, then you did participate in the trainings of new recruits.
Yes, but if I can expand on that.
You did participate in trainings of new recruits?
Yes, but not in the traditional sense as I guess the class would say there.
Explain what you say by the class. Oh, you as a part of the training officer class participated in the training of new recruits?
Yes.
Over a number of years?
Yes and no. With the PTO program, once you complete the course, you're then a certified probationary training officer, and you will be assigned recruits coming out of the academy. That will be their first phase. They have numerous phases, but one of the first phases they are coming out of the academy is they're assigned to a PTO at that time, which used to be called an FTO. Because of my position in the Flex Platoon in the 6th Division in Newburgh, because of my position at that time, even though I went to the class and completed the PTO phase, or I'm sorry, the PTO program, I was not assigned recruits. Recruits were not assigned out of the academy, fresh out of the academy. They were assigned to a narcotics or a street level plainclothes platoon for a multitude of reasons, but they are sent to a patrol division and they ride with a uniformed officer because they are also in uniform in a marked car, and they learn their training program through that PTO, and then they will transfer as it goes to different stages of that program with other officers in different parts of the county.
Now, thank you.
Sure.
I am going to show you what is marked as Commonwealth Exhibit 160, Commonwealth Exhibit 161, and Commonwealth Exhibit 162. These are memorandum. Each one is a memorandum from Chief Conrad, which is a letter of commendation. Actually, it's from Sergeant Jeremy Coleman to Chief Conrad, listing all the PTOs that participated in the recruit training. And you, Commonwealth Exhibits 160, 161, 162. Looking at Exhibit 160.
Yes, ma'am.
See and it's a memorandum regarding letter of commendation and a list of PTOs or police training officers, and is your name included in that list?
Yes, ma'am.
On the bottom right column.
It is.
Would you read that letter or memorandum, please?
Sure. To Chief Stephen Conrad, LMPD, from Sergeant Jeremy Coleman, 3rd Division, Training Division, Special Projects Unit, dated March 7th, 2018, in reference to a letter of commendation. Would you like me to read all the names?
No, you don't have to read. You are one of the PTO officers listed there.
Correct.
And what does the body of the memorandum state?
On today's date, the 7th of March, 2018, the police training officers, PTO, listed above, volunteered to assist with the Metro Academy Class 40 practicals during the hours of 0830 to 1600 hours. These officers provided the role of the PTO to the recruits of MAC 40. MAC is the abbreviation for Metro Academy Class 40. During the course of the day, the PTO and their recruits responded to a variety of scenarios based on runs ranging from a report run to where the use of force was required. Their coaching and evaluation provided the recruits additional opportunities to learn the scenario and the PTO's knowledge and experiences. The PTOs were vital to the recruits' learning during this time period. The dedication and enthusiasm these officers displayed by volunteering their time to provide their expertise and guidance to the recruits during their final practicals before graduation is outstanding.
So that is a commendation for the group of PTOs, including you, that during the course of the day, you as a PTO and the recruits responded to a variety of scenario-based runs from a report run to a run where the use of force was required. So you did participate as a training officer in that exercise.
Yes, ma'am.
Training the new recruits how to respond in one scenario where the use of force was required.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, moving on, and move to Exhibit 160.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, it'll be so admitted.
Now, moving on to Exhibit 161. And what is the date on that memorandum?
August the 2nd of 2018.
Again, it is a memorandum from Sergeant Jeremy Coleman of the Training Division to Chief Conrad. And are you one of the PTOs listed that the letter of commendation is addressed to?
Yes, ma'am.
So would you read the body of this memorandum?
Certainly. On Tuesday, July 31st, 2018, the police training officers listed above volunteered to assist Metro Academy Class 41 practicals. These practicals were different from previous dates as the recruits experienced the challenges that the 12-hour shift represents: run volume, length of shift, and the stresses of the runs themselves to officers. Throughout the course of the day, the PTOs and the recruits responded to a variety of scenario-based runs, ranging from report runs to runs where the use of force was required. The coaching and evaluation that the PTO provided the recruits during and after the scenarios and while in their downtime created additional opportunities to learn from the PTO's knowledge and experience. PTOs, such as these exceptional officers, are a vital key to the success of recruit practicals. The dedication and enthusiasm these officers displayed by volunteering their time to provide their expertise and guidance as PTOs to the recruits of MAC 41 during their final practicals before graduation is outstanding.
So once again, this recruit training occurring in July of 2018, you were one of the training officers who worked with recruits in scenarios, one of which was a scenario where the use of force was required.
You are not going to miss a moment of this cross-examination of the defendant, former Detective Brett Hankison. We're hitting pause. We'll get you back in live after this.
We've all been there. All of a sudden, you're...
Back into the courtroom we go together now in Kentucky, where defendant and former Detective Brett Hankison is on the stand being cross-examined by the Commonwealth attorney. Let's watch.
On that one, I'm not sure. I know the first one, it mentions a use of force requirement.
The first paragraph, would you read the last sentence?
Sure. To runs where the use of force, yes, ma'am. That's the same as the same explanation
in
first.
this second recruit class in July of 18, you participated in training with recruits in scenarios where the use of force was required.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to admit Exhibit 161.
No objection.
It'll be so admitted.
Now would you look at the next memorandum, which has been marked Exhibit 162. And again, is that a memorandum from Sergeant Coleman of the Training Division to Chief Conrad?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the date on this memorandum?
December 14th, 2018.
And you are one of the PTOs that this memorandum is addressed to.
Yes, ma'am.
And what does this one state?
On December 10th and 11th, 2018, the recruits of Metro Academy in Class 42 entered their last practical exercises before graduation. These practicals attempt to encompass the basic skills, abilities, and knowledge the members of MAC 42 have learned through their time within the Basic Police Academy into real-world scenarios ranging from report runs, to runs where the use of force was required. The police officers listed above undertook the challenge of coaching/training and the assessment of MAC 42 recruits throughout the practicals. During their downtime and during the end of the day debriefing sessions, the leadership, teaching, and mentoring skills of these officers conveyed during that time was a vital key in helping create additional opportunities for the recruits to learn.
So this third memorandum dated December 2018 was once again a commendation for participating as a training officer with a class of recruits, training, among other things, how to respond in a situation where the use of force is required.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to admit Exhibit 162.
No objection.
It'll be so admitted.
And you stated actually, Officer Gelhausen explained yesterday, qualification with the firearm is required twice a year.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have qualified twice a year during the last 20 years or during the 20 years that you were a police officer.
I'm not sure what the scheduling was on the qualification in Lexington, but as my time here in Louisville, I believe it was twice a year. Yes, ma'am.
And that involves, as we heard, scenarios, various stages as we went through with Officer Gelhausen in the use of the duty weapon and the firing under time constraints at what he referred to as the LMP target blue, LMPD blue. And what is the LMPD blue at the firing range?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't have anything to reference, but I believe it is a blue colored target, and it is a silhouette of a human, I believe.
Well, sir, you have participated in the training out at the Louisville Metro Police Firearms for approximately 17 years. And I think my question is, what is the LMPD blue target?
The best of my knowledge is what I just described, but we have different targets for different qualifications. So, and they have different, not exhibit, but different target numbers, and they're called different things. So there's literally a table from here to the jury box full of these paper targets with different scenarios on them. Let me rephrase, with different targets on them. Some can be a person, some can be a silhouette, some can be a Coke bottle, some can be little, as I was shown yesterday into the record, the little small circles that are all over a target. And I don't know, Ms. Whaley, what exactly each target looks like just by their name. I would have to see it.
Well, Officer Gelhausen explained that in the morning qualification with the duty weapon, it is in fact the blue silhouette of an adult person, life-size adult blue silhouette. Do you recall that?
I recall his testimony, and I have no reason to dispute that.
But I'm asking you, aside from Officer Gelhausen's testimony, is that how you recall the target at the firing range when you qualify with the duty weapon in the morning of the fall qualification?
I do not recall that specific target, no ma'am.
Now, you stated that the
All right, hearing a lot about the officers' training. Of course, that's important because they're going to rely on their training in a stressful situation like the one they found themselves in March of 2020 at the home of Breonna Taylor. We're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll go right back in exactly where we left off.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, former officer.
Thanks for staying with us here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Let's go back to court together. We're in Kentucky watching the trial of Officer Brett Hankison. He was let go from the Louisville Metro Police Department after that botched raid that left Breonna Taylor dead. And while he's not being accused in her death, he's being accused of something else, wanton endangerment for the way that he fired his gun on that night in question. Let's go back in together exactly where we left off.
I believe you testified that you had not been involved in a critical incident
I don't believe
until this situation on March 13th, 2020.
I don't believe that's what I said.
Had you been involved in a critical incident then, prior to March 13, 2020?
I think the question asked was whether or not I was involved in a shooting before, and I said no, I had not discharged my firearm. Critical incidents, can you be more specific?
Have you been involved previously with an incident involving a barricaded subject with a gun?
Yes, but I don't recall. I'm sure I have, and I don't have any reason not to believe, but I believe that's happened more than once.
Handing you another memorandum that has been marked Commonwealth Exhibit 163. If you would, look at that memorandum. And who is the author, well, who is the memorandum written to?
It's written to me.
And at the time, what division were you a part of? That's underneath your name.
Sorry, Charlie District.
And who is the memorandum from?
Colonel Robert White.
And this is regarding letter of appreciation? Is that
Yes,
what-
yes, ma'am.
And go ahead and read the content of this memorandum.
Yes, ma'am. Recently, I received a letter commending you for your professionalism and outstanding performance in your assistance in an incident occurring at 7919 Ivory Court. I understand the subject of this location had barricaded himself in the house with several weapons and ammunition. In a timely fashion, you were able to set up an inner perimeter and make contact with the subject, as well as gather other critical information from the subject's family. Teamwork and patience from all units involved in this incident allowed for the situation to be resolved with the subject surrendering. I appreciate your willingness to put forth extra effort in doing your job. You have helped showcase the professionalism and dedication of the Louisville Metro Police Department.
So in this situation, the subject was barricaded in the house with several weapons and ammunition. And you made contact with the subject, and the situation was resolved.
That's what the letter says, yes, ma'am.
That's what the letter says. Do you recall this incident?
I do not.
You do not. Okay, move to admit Exhibit 163.
No objection.
It will be so admitted.
Now, you stated that I believe you said approximately 5 years, you were a member of the Merit Board with Louisville Metro Police?
Yes, ma'am, approximately. And can I expand on that?
The question is, were you a member of the Merit Board for approximately 5 years?
Combined, yes, approximately 5 years.
And the Merit Board hears cases involving officers that have violated a regulation or a rule or have been disciplined in some way. Does the Merit Board hear those cases?
The Merit Board hears appeals made by the officer after they are disciplined and or terminated.
So through all those years of being a member of the Merit Board, is it your testimony that you had no knowledge or did not know the regulations of the protocols of the Public Integrity Unit?
No, none of our cases, to my recollection, involved the PIU unit as in a shooting investigatory way. None of our Merit Board cases were for that. Most of the time they were for smaller things, for I don't want to say, but just smaller policy violations.
Now, let's move on to the search warrant that I believe you stated you volunteered to be a member of the team on March 12th.
What I said was I volunteered via email back to Sergeant Meany of PBI stating that I was available when requested for manpower.
And how many officers were on the team that served the warrant?
On Springfield Drive? I believe 7 total.
Now, I believe you stated that they were all from different units, that they had not worked together. Is that your testimony?
Yes, ma'am. We were all part of CID, but we are assigned to different platoons within CID. I don't believe any of us worked for the same platoon or under the same supervisor.
Hand you what's marked Commonwealth Exhibit 164.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that an organizational chart of the CID? Criminal Interdiction Division?
That's what appears so, yes, ma'am.
And the date on this org chart is February 2020.
That's the date at the top, yes, ma'am.
Now, which unit are you in listed on here?
Complaint Response Squad number 1, which is commonly referred to as CRU 1.